This is something we need to understand. A lot of people say terrorists are crazy, insane, stupid. Actually, they're not. I'm going to say something that might offend one or two people, and I apologise. I'm going to overgeneralise now the Abrahamic religions, and I know it's an overgeneralisation, so please don't tweet the heck out of me. If you believe in God, and lots of Jews, Christians and Muslims do, and you believe in heaven, and lots of Jews, Christians and Muslims do, and you believe there is a certain code of conduct you need to follow that gets you into heaven, and lots of Jews, Christians and Muslims do, then it's logical to follow that code of conduct. It's not crazy, it's logical. So the question now comes is, who taught you what code of conduct? What are you following? You learned yours in your schools. People learnt theirs in their schools, which is why the challenge in countries like Syria and the challenge with radical Islam is a multi-generational challenge, because there are people in that community who have been taught, in my view wrongly, that the code of conduct to get into heaven is to do this sort of thing. There is a rabbi, Jonathan Sachs, who's written a book in God's name, not in God's name. And if you want to understand this dynamic, it's a wonderful, wonderful book, because he talks about a thing called dualism, which is creating the us versus them fight. And once you create the us versus them fight, it's very, very easy to be destructive of other human beings. And then he says you move from there to a thing called altruistic evil. Because you're not doing this bad thing for yourself, you're doing what God commands you to do. It's now not evil, it's altruistic. It's following the teachings of God. Altruistic evil and dualism, us versus them. And we've got to be very careful. They're not crazy. They're following a logical path based on an educational framework that I just happen to think is grossly wrong.
Christophe, is that something the French government is going to have to counter in this tiny group of people that we're talking about? And how do you do it?